Yeah.
I got this plugged in.
Okay. Hey, y'all. How is everybody today? Keeping warm, I hope. Yeah, it's one of those days, and I feel like maybe I felt like I was lying to some people about the Florida weather because this is unusual for us to have this kind of weather for this long. Trust me, and I've been telling people about 18 days of winter is what we normally have, and when I mean winter, I mean getting down to freezing or below and that kind of thing. And this year, it's kind of stretching that just a bit, and it was really cold this morning. Going to be even colder in the morning. They're saying, by the weekend we're getting into the 20s, maybe down with the real feel, it's going to be in the 10, 15, something like that. That's the kind of weather that we're not used to. It doesn't happen every day. And I said, this is the first winter, I think, that we've really had to deal with this for this long. Usually it's a couple days of cold and then it's back to warm again. And that's kind of how it was last week. It got cold, but then we had a beautiful weekend in the 80s. And so now, this weekend it's going to be even colder. So, I don't know. Like I know y'all are dealing with a lot worse weather than we've got here, but still, like I said, we're not used to this. And like I said, I've told people, they didn't need to bring all their heavy coats and what have you down here, but I don't know, this year's kind of stretching a little bit. So, yeah, Catherine Jacobson says sunny and 1 degree here. Yeah, so I got no gripe coming, really. Skip Richards says single digits on Cape Cod and 18 inches of snow. That's what I mean, I feel stupid even talking about it because, we don't have to worry about that. But hey, Susan, Gringo Loco, in somewhere in the sun. So, yeah, it's just one of those years, I guess. It's going to be one of those years. I think they said it hadn't got, the temperatures are supposed to have Sunday is the lowest in 16 years. Go figure. So I said, I'm not used to this. We've been here since, I think, 2011. 2014 full time, but we've been here since 2011 off and on. And we've never had a winter like this. So, Catherine Jacobson said, do you turn the heat on or use a space heater for warmth? No, in the house we've not gotten cold in the house. It's just your outside temperature. That house stays pretty much the same all year round. And like I said, we keep it on 74 winter and summer, and it seems to stay that way. It's the outside temperature, the kind that kills your plants. And I remember the last time it turned cold like this, and I noticed a lot of the plants that the winter doesn't ordinarily bother, a lot of them died. If it's cold, like I said, below 32 for, I think it's more than 4 hours, it can kill even the normal plants. So, but, Gringo Loca says pure sunshine and 84 on the side of the volcano. Well, good for you. That's what I say. I think, I feel funny telling people that I'm cold when I think, let me see what the actual temperature is here. 48 is the actual temperature here, which, that's odd for Florida. Let's see. Vicky on Paradise says, hello from sunny but cold Elizabethtown, PA with 10 inches of snow and temps 16 degrees. Feels like 3 degrees. I know, if you have very much wind, this morning when I walked Buddy, it was cold out, but there wasn't any wind. So when that wind picks up, that really makes it cold. I think that's the worst of it right there is when, when that wind is cold. But, and Cindy says 12 in Pittsburgh. Yeah, like I said, you guys are getting the brunt of it, I know, and I hate it. Like I said, we don't have to shovel it, that's for sure. And we can always pile on more clothes if we go anywhere. So, we've got sweaters and what have you, but I said, we don't normally have to do that, even in the wintertime. Carolyn Apostol says 50 here in the village in Wildwood area. Yeah, that's what I said. The temperature's slowly climbing. I think the high is supposed to be 60. I don't know if it's going to get to that or not, but
What do you want?
slowly it's getting there. So, and I said, it's supposed to be that way. I think tomorrow,
A cookie.
a little bit warmer, and then, like I said, over the weekend it's going to get bitterly cold again. So, and Rich A said 19 degrees in Pennsylvania, had 11 inches of snow over the weekend, now frozen solid. I'll bet. I talked to my family, and they're all saying the same thing. You know, that don't get out unless you have to, and even if the sun's shining, it's just too cold. And they had a lot of wind too. I don't know if y'all had the wind, and I think so because you're getting the same storm that they've already had. But they had some awful wind. With it being as cold and as much snow as they had, it was another. I said the winter of '78. And y'all remember that where we had the blizzard? Yeah, it was awful where I lived. And I said they said it was kind of another one of those. And yeah, Jerry, he has his long pants and long shirt on. Yeah, he had to go eye doctor yesterday. So I said he learned how chilly it was because normally he don't go outside. Hello from Richmond, Indiana. Freezing cold, 6 degrees, and got 9 inches of snow on Sunday. Wow. Well, you're lucky, Richmond. Really, I talked to my niece in Bloomington, and she said they had 12 inches at that time, and it was still snowing. And I think it was probably 18 by the time it got done snowing there. So, yeah, it's just been a weird winter. It's just like it was a weird summer. And Gringo Locus says, I don't have clothes for cold weather. Well, you know, we don't have a lot because we keep most of them in the camper because we don't have this kind of weather all the time. And I said, especially when it's prolonged for several days. Usually, you know, it's 1 or 2 days and then it goes back to where it's normal. But this time it ain't. It's kind of hanging in there. Rizzo says it's 60 in the Keys. Yeah, don't you wish we were there?
Well, think about the cold weather. You don't have any mosquitoes.
Well, that's true. Racer Girl says, on my way to yoga to class to warm up. That's one way. That works.
Yoga.
Kathy B says, hi, Skip and Sue. Hey, Kathy. And I said, what have y'all been doing this week since the weather's been so creepy? Doing anything interesting? Something you could do inside, a movie or exercise classes. That's one. There's a lot of stuff you can do inside, especially here.
Drink beer.
Yeah.
Play cards.
That's right. A lot of them play cards, play games of some kind.
Cook
and,
a lot.
Shuffleboard and...
Cook a lot.
Cook a lot, yeah. We don't do much of that. Oh, and Laura says...
Went to Olive Garden yesterday. Nothing bad about Olive Garden. My food was fine. But the traffic to get there...
Yes, it was awful.
is awful.
Yeah.
And we noticed going up there, they're still building more houses, more apartments, more stuff.
Yeah, all the way around us there.
It's going to get to the point you can't get around here anymore.
Yeah, it was end-to-end traffic, all the way down 301, all the way down 466. It was just end-to-end traffic, and I know it's snowbird season, so everybody's here, but wow. I mean, it was unusual. Laura says, good afternoon from my hotel in Miami. 64 degrees and cloudy. No one in the pool.
Thought she was getting on a boat.
Not yet. She said, but I'm sitting outside by the pool. She don't go until tomorrow.
Can she walk down to one of them Spanish restaurants and get some real Cuban sandwiches?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, there's a difference. The Cuban sandwiches we get around here, and I've had real Cuban sandwiches, and there's a difference.
Oh, yeah. Like, usually most of the food is that way. Just like, you know, Italian's not the kind of Italian we get at Olive Garden. I've heard that many times. Doesn't matter because I like it.
I don't really care for the Cuban food. I've had it. I mean, real Cuban food, it's all bland. A lot of rice, a lot of beans. It's bland. I mean, the first thing you're looking for is a ketchup bottle. Something.
You know, see, I see it different. To me, it's a lot of dough.
Then we went to, what's her name's? What was the name of it?
what's her name?
Gloria Estefan's
Oh,
restaurant,
yeah.
which is all Cuban. All Cuban people worked in there. I questioned them, and I just didn't care for it.
Did they say because the visitors don't like spicy stuff?
Cuban food ain't spicy. I asked Jose about it. He said most Spanish food is not spicy.
Really?
It's a lot of rice, a lot of beans. You can make it spicy, I suppose, but that's the problem with I have with Spanish food. Like this Colombian restaurant over here. It's got good whatever it is. Well, I'll tell you, if it wasn't for the hamburger on the menu, I probably wouldn't get nothing to eat there.
I know. Craig the Sailor says 31 degrees and a half inch of snow today in Spokane. Our hearts go out to all of you that have a ton of snow this week. Yes. I mean, looking at it on TV is a little bit different for us, but I said just to think,
Buddy.
be in the cold and have to scrape your windows and shovel the snow, and I am just so glad I'm over that. I just, yeah.
Come here.
Kathy B said we went to see the manatees at Three Sister Springs. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, this is the time of year when you want to go because they're packed in there. I did see something on online that said not to bother them because you don't want to scare them out into the cold water. Well, they have boats out there and you swim with them. So I don't think you being there looking is going to scare them. But, you never know. My son I think he went in December, went swimming with the manatees. And, they didn't seem to worry about the people there. Let's see. Frank says, hello, Skip and Sue, how is the temperature today? Well, you heard me. I said, it's chilly. It's 48 right now, as far as my watch goes, but the temperature's creeping up a little bit at a time. And it's supposed to be, I think the high is supposed to be 60 according to the paper today. So, it's doable. And somewhere in the sun says, was that at Disney, Skip, Gloria Estefan? We ate there a long time ago. It was okay. It's been a while.
I think it was like
Disney Springs.
some Disney Springs or someplace, yeah.
Yeah.
And
But it's been a long time ago. But yeah, we're just, kind of surprised that it wasn't spicy. We'd always thought it was.
We always assumed
we
Spanish
assumed.
food is spicy like Mexican food.
Yeah.
And that's not true. No,
Cassie.
generally speaking, all the Spanish food I've had in California and everywhere else has always been bland, very bland.
Well, Casa del Sol Boutique and Bread and Breakfast says, hi, Sue and Skip. 14 degrees here in Malago. We have had the most rain since living here for 13 years in December and January. Well, we're in a drought. I just read it in the paper this morning that the Sumter area, Marion County is the most, but Sumter County is, they're cutting people down to 1 day a week of watering, in which this time of year doesn't really matter because everything's dormant. But yeah, it's really odd. You guys have all the rain and we didn't get any. I heard him say that in Paris. I think they were having Australia. They were having the hottest summer that they'd ever had. So, it all depends on where you're at. And Laura says manatees are such wonderful animals. They are. Sorry, dolphins and sea turtles. The manatees, they're so big you don't think of them as being cuddly. But they kind of are. And Gringo says, Wrestler posted a video snow blowing after the storm. I cannot imagine living in snow. Well, yeah, Gringo, it's once you're out of it, I have no desire to go back to it. Trust me, it's something, I can feel it in my bones, And I said, we're complaining of it getting down 40s and 30s and what have you here, and that's good weather to them, if they can, and the snow, it's pretty to look at. That's all I can say. And Judy Cherry wants to know where you go to look at them, the manatees. Is there a boardwalk or something that you can stand on and see them? I read that
They got several main places.
during the really cold weather they don't allow boats.
What I know of is they have a power plant, electrical power plant on the coast, and it uses water to cool off the stuff, whatever
I think
it is.
that's Fort Myers, isn't it?
I don't know where it is. All I know, you can Google it, and then on the other side, it shoots that water out, and when it shoots the water out, it's warm. And the manatees have learned to go there in the wintertime, and they go in there by the hundreds.
But the closest around here is Crystal River.
This year, the park rangers are discouraging you to go there. They don't want you to go there. because they said when people show up, it scares the manatees and they go out into cold water, and that's when problems happen.
Now, that's what I read, and I thought, well, I never heard that before. But yeah, Crystal River is the closest to here that the manatees go to, and you can see pictures. Usually, they have a picture in the paper, and it just looks like big boulders in the
There
water.
was a picture on Discord today.
Where they have a picture that looks like big boulders, and that's all the manatees that are squeezing into these channels where it's warm. Yeah, Three Sisters Spring in Crystal River. There's a boardwalk around the springs. And let's see. Lavinia Allen says, hey, Sue and Skip, Matt and Lavinia from Southwest Virginia, 22 degrees here. Buddy looks so cute against Skip's dark shirt.
He's been ornery today.
Yeah. Yeah, Crystal River's about an hour's drive from here. And Laura says, I like 1 inch of snow on Christmas Eve, then all melts on December 26th, and the temperature goes back to 70. Yeah, that's my idea of winter, Laura. Yeah, like I said, the first winter we spent down here, first Christmas we spent down here, and we're...
It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. And we put up the Christmas tree and everything because the kids were coming, and we had all the decorations out and everything. But we took a family picture out front under the palm tree. You talk about odd. But like I said, it was kind of nice not to have to worry about, coats and hats and boots and gloves and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, it was kind of nice, but just weird. We had dinner at one of the country clubs and sit outside and ate dinner and just that, this is Christmas. Yeah.
We've had a lot of work done this week, come to think about it. As cold as the temperature's been, it doesn't stop yard work.
I know.
We've had Chano, you can't see, but he's trimmed my back hedges back here again. All them bushes over here, I showed pictures on Patreon. I don't think they're anywhere else. But these bushes over here, I said were a pain in the ass. I got the hiccup from cookies.
Well, I guess.
The boxwood is a trashy bush, and they put them everywhere. They probably call it cheap. So I had him dig all them up and got rid of them, and we put the mats down and then the mulch down, and that's a flower bed now for Sue. She can keep that stuff off the porch. They go right over there. Or she'll turn it into a tomato garden. I don't know. But anyway, there's a place over here now for that.
Come on.
And actually it looks better because now we got no weeds around the air conditioner anymore. It's all cleaned out.
Yeah.
What else did he do? He done something else too.
He cleaned the palm tree.
He did. Yeah, I did cut the dead leaves off the palm tree. I get Chano here. He's a nice guy. I get Chano here, and whatever's going on, while I got him here, I go, hey, while you're here. But he takes it all in stride.
Yeah. And he may have to come back and help me plant. Come here. Okay. Well, okay.
Oh, we had the house washed from house wash since last week.
Yeah.
And got my stackable brick. I got them steam cleaned. I'm thinking about buying a high pressure washer myself. They steam clean them, but I don't think they do a very good job.
No, they do a very quick job. So.
They do a quick job. It looks better, but not as good as it could be.
Well,
That's just my opinion. But he only charges $20 to steam clean everything, so. Yeah. Can you bitch? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you'd have to go, you do it in the evening or do it on a cloudy day or something.
If you're talking about these red things back here, Lois, Louise, whatever, yeah, they're real. They grow here pretty rampant if you want to plant them. I planted one year over here by the air conditioner, where the water drips out of the air conditioner. I planted it right next to that so it could be watered all the time and I didn't have to worry about it. And the damn thing got to be 5 feet tall.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
We had people stop by and ask if they could go over and take pictures of it because they said they'd never seen one that big. And
these are the ones that was out front. I just brought them in because of the cold.
Yeah,
so.
But the one that was 5 feet tall, I ended up like this. That's what it was. We just stuck it in the ground.
Yeah.
Didn't know if it'd even grow. But and then the old rumors where they say you got to put these things in a dark room or cover them up or all kinds of stuff so their leaves will be red. What's he barking at?
I don't know. That bird.
Shut
Okay.
up.
Come on, be good.
So the leaves will be red and whatever. Well, we didn't do nothing with it. I'm not going to deal with your barking like this. Shut up. There's nothing out there. Look. Look. Nothing. But we didn't do anything of that one over here. And every year they turn red.
Yeah, and then it got, because of where it's at, you know, next to the air conditioner, it's in between the houses. There's not a lot of air that goes through there, not a lot of airflow. So it got the powdery mildew, and you got to watch that, especially in places that don't have a lot of sun, and that gets a lot of rain, and not a lot of air, like on our front porch. On our front porch, we got to watch the one in front of the door because it doesn't get any air. And so if you don't watch it, it'll get the powdery mildew, and there's kind of no way to stop it. So we ended up having to dig it up.
I think it was Laura talked about the cold weather up north. Oh, I checked from Indiana last night before I went to bed. I think I went to bed kind of early for me, around midnight. And the temperature in Anderson was 0. Exactly 0.
Yeah.
So anyway, Laura flew down to Miami a couple days ago. She getting ready to do a cruise. And she said the guy sitting next to her on the plane was from Puerto Rico, which is where Jose's from. And they were talking, and I guess she asked him how he ended up in Chicago, and he was up there for business. This company he works for in Puerto Rico does business up there, and anyway, they sent him up there for something, whatever it was. And he told Laura, he said, if they try to send me up here again next year in January, he said, I'm quitting.
Oh, and let's see. Denise said, I missed what Skip said. What did he get steam cleaned for $20? All the brick around all our plants and everything in the front. We've got a brick berm about 2 or 3 bricks high all the way around up there, and they steam clean those for $20.
Yeah. You got to get them cleaned once in a while, some way, somehow, however you want to do it. High pressure washer or whatever, because the water from your water sprinklers comes from a retention pond or a nearby swamp that you have. And in that swamp is a lot of just nastiness. What are you doing?
I'm trying to get his bones.
He ain't gonna sit on my lap and chew on a bone.
He'll sit on mine and chew on a bone.
And so anyway, that black nastiness, whatever it is, gets on your bricks and it gets in the yard and it turns to mold and then it grows, and that's the problem. This is why you have to have your yard sprinklers cleaned out at least once a year. I do mine about once a year. You can do it yourself. It's just time consuming. And so anyway, I had him have a steam clean them about, I think they wash my house every 6 months, and so every 6 months I have it steam cleaned at the same time, and just to try to keep that black stuff, cut down. You're never going to get rid of it, but you can keep it cut down.
Yeah, and I said that black stuff eventually, like I said, it'll cover all your bricks, especially if they're light colored. So it makes it look nicer. That's all. And let me see. Gringo says he'd been in several different areas: San Diego, Hawaii, Arizona, Costa Rica, and Nicaragua, but not any place cold. And he says visited the cold many times, but not a fan. Well, that's me. Once we got down here, I just knew. When I slept and busted my head open on the ice, and a million different reasons why I didn't want to be in the cold anymore. So, okay, yeah, Apollo Beach is another place you can see the manatees. Yeah, and it's also on the coast. Let's see.
They used to have a place over here. What was it called? Springs, something Springs.
Crystal River, and
over here by us where they used to cut the Tarzan movies. The wild monkeys are out there. They left them there, Reese's Monkeys.
yeah,
They turned it into a national park now. Silver Springs.
Silver Spring, but the manatees don't go there. They go to Crystal River, the springs of Crystal
They
River.
also go to Silver Springs. I've seen a thing on it.
Okay.
So I don't know if they still do or not. These are all stuff that you hear and things you see, but they change things around Florida so much because there's so much building going on that sometimes the noise, the construction, the pollution, and the animals move. You know, it's just like here, everybody's wanting to have artificial turf. I understand the argument, but I got to tell you, I don't think I'm a fan of it.
Yeah, it's just so, especially down in the new areas, I hear they're having such a hard time.
Two things is on me. They have nothing to do with the artificial turf, the price of it, or anything else. Is one, that if you pay attention to the news and medicine and stuff, microscopic plastic particles is starting to show up in human blood. And I asked the nurse last time I had my blood test over here, and she said yes. She said they, not a lot, but they have had reports of it coming back of plastic particles in human blood. They don't know where it's coming from. We don't know where it's coming from. I'm saying we're breathing it in somewhere. And then the second is, you have all this artificial turf around. My mind said, before we worry about that, what effect of wildlife is that going to have? I mean, everybody loves the cranes. Well, the cranes walk through your yard, watch them. They poke their beak in the ground. They're pulling up them mole crickets and everything else to get them bugs and stuff. They also, whatever they get down there, they're eating it. Now, I ain't saying that's the only place they get food, but in the villages, that's where they're getting a lot of it. And if you go putting this artificial turf down and stuff, how's that going to affect that? And then the other one was, I got an email from a guy in California saying in California they're having a big problem with artificial turf because when they put their turf down, it kills the soil. There's a mold that grows between the soil and the bottom part of the turf. And then they find out later when they take the turf up and think, well, we'll put grass back down. The soil's dead. There's something with the soil. It's just killing the soil. So I'm saying that it needs to be checked out really well before they say yay or nay, because there's always going to be them people. You can say, yes, we can have the side yard with turf. Somebody's going to come down, they're going to see turf, they don't check their district rules, and they're going to turf the whole damn yard. And then or somebody's going to get in trouble about it, and then somebody will say, well, I bought the house, it was already there. And all that's a problem. It's just a continual problem.
Okay, is that a difference between putting all rock in?
At least with rock, with that thing they put down, and when it rains, the rainwater goes through all that. And with turf, I don't know how that works. I'm just saying it needs to be investigated a little more before somebody says point blank in a district, yes, we're going to allow it.
Yeah.
Because it could be a problem.
Okay. Jerry says microplastics come from oatmeal cookies. Google it.
What is that?
Microplastics come from oatmeal cookies.
One never knows anymore, because I don't even know where them cookies are made.
Oh my goodness. See. Yeah. Razor Girl says, Jerry, that is what's holding Skip together. Yeah, pretty much.
What do you say?
That's what's holding you together. Is your oatmeal cookies.
Oh, yeah. I'm falling apart slowly but surely, though. We was out to Olive Garden yesterday, and the people in front of us, they kind of needed a little help to get out of the booth, to get their walker, to get out to the car. And the waitress we had there, she was pretty neat.
Very nice little girl.
Whatever she was a pretty cool waitress. And I told her, I said, I'm getting there myself. I said, I ain't making no fun of anybody. I'm getting there myself. She said, oh, you're not either. You're way too young. And I said, I don't know. I said, I'm telling you, I'm getting there myself. So when me and Sue gets ready to go, we're both turning around, grabbing a hold of shit, trying to figure out how to get the hell out of this booth.
We're already there. We didn't need the walker, but I drove getting out of that booth. And I think it's because I couldn't use my hands to get up. But yeah. Let's see. Deb J.M. says, you can also see manatees at Blue Springs State Park near Orange City in Volusia County. The count yesterday was over 800. Amazing to see. It is. I said, the pictures they have in the paper, it's so funny. When I first seen one of those pictures, and a lot of times they put it on the front page of the paper when they get, so many in there that they're packed in there. And I said, every time I look at that paper, and I said, you look at it when you don't know what it is, it just looks like rocks in the water. And then when you read it, and that's all manatees, it just kind of blows your mind. It does. But bless their heart, they've had a hard time the last few years. They've had to feed them. They've been dumping lettuce and all into the water because they haven't been able to find enough stuff to eat.
Thanks, Laura, for being on my side.
But yeah, 800. That's a lot. And I don't know how big those springs are. But like I said, we went to one down by Fort Myers, and it was behind the electric company. And like I said, they go to the warm water, and this springs was behind the electric company. And it has a name. I don't remember what the name was. But our friend Tom Hall took us down there. And I said, there's just, tons of them. You just can't imagine. Yeah, oatmeal cookies are high in fiber, and it's important at our age to have fiber in our diets. Yeah. Especially, yeah. She said, after watching my dad go from a cane to a walker, I never try to be in a hurry around people using canes and walkers. Yeah, and you see that a lot down here, especially, a lot of people are elderly down here, and they use the canes and the walkers, and they have a lot of knee surgeries and hip surgeries and stuff like that down here. So a lot of people are on them. A lot of my friends, they use canes or walkers, and that's cool. You forget sometimes, and I forgot yesterday. I said Skip had a problem with his hip, so he's walking slow. He's walking, but he's walking slow. So I forget, and I walk off and leave him, and not even thinking about it. So I turn around and look, and he's way back there somewhere.
She's crazy too. I ain't the only one here. I wanted to get my eyes done, and I did a crazy thing to my eye doctor, which I usually go to down here, and I got a phone call, and on my phone, you got to see how I log things. It said doctor. I thought it was Village's health system calling me again, and I'm sick of them calling me. So let's just say that the phone call ended with me telling them, don't call me anymore, I don't want to hear any more about it, and I hung up. Well, then I got to thinking about it, and I asked Sue, I said, when is my eye doctor appointment? And she said, tomorrow at 1:30 or whatever it was. As you may want to call them and see if I still have that appointment, because somebody called me, and I thought it was the village. Anyway, she called. It was not the Village's health system. I told my eye doctor, so I didn't have an appointment anymore. And so she tried to make another appointment. It was like a month waiting period. I said, I don't want to wait a month. So I said, call your doctor. So she called her doctor to make an appointment, and it was yesterday at, what time? 3 o'clock. So we go in there, and then Sue tells him about the appointment, my name, and all this and that. And then I could tell the lady had this puzzled look on her face after going through the. I'll be right back, she says. I'm thinking, this is screwed up. I screwed up, I can just tell. I said, let's just go now. I don't want to argue about this. Let's just go. So we waited. Finally, she comes back. She says, well, we don't find an appointment for you at all today. She said, are you sure it's today? Well, I had it in my mind that Sue said Thursday. Well, apparently that was my other appointment that I had already canceled. Yeah. And then she said something about Peeps.
Peepers.
She said, maybe you made it at Peepers. And I'm looking at Sue, said, why would you make it at Peepers? I told you to make it at your doctor. This is your doctor. Why? So anyway, she checks with Peepers. Guess what? I had an appointment at Peepers. I don't even know where Peepers is. And I said, I'm not going to Peepers. I'm telling you right now, I'm not going.
And you know how sometimes when you look stuff up on the internet, I said, you're looking for this eye doctor, but when the screen comes on, it's got 3 eye doctors ahead of that before you get to yours. If you don't watch, and that's what I did. I called to make an appointment with my doctor, and I didn't have their number. I looked it up on Google, and I said, when the thing come up, Peepers was first. It wasn't my eye doctor, it was Peepers. And so that's the one I made the appointment with and didn't even know it.
So now I have a third appointment. Friday at?
Hindsight.
Huh?
Hindsight.
What time?
10.
At 10 o'clock in the morning, I hate that.
Yeah, and nobody has afternoon appointments.
No. When I moved here, every old person here had to have everything done early in the morning. 8 o'clock in the morning appointments, 9 o'clock in the morning. Everybody did it early morning. I always got afternoon appointments, easy peasy, because nobody did afternoon appointments. Now all of a sudden, I can't even get an afternoon appointment. Now I got to take a 10 o'clock in the morning appointment.
Well, that's because you want everything now. if you wait a couple of weeks, you can get probably all the afternoons you wanted.
I don't know.
But anyhow,
And here's another thing. Why is it you go into all these eyeglass places, every one of them's the same. They're all exactly the same. Rooms full of frames everywhere. You walk around, you're looking at all this stuff, and I want to know, where is the men's frames?
and I told you,
I'm
one
not-
side is men's,
I'm not
one side's
buying
women's.
frames that a woman can wear.
No, one side is men's,
I
one side is
want
women's.
men's frame because we have a wider head, our ears are set back further.
I
I
understand.
want men's frames.
And they have them, like I said, they're
Where?
just on
I didn't
one
see
side.
anything in there, in any places we've ever been where it says men's section.
It didn't say men's section.
Why not?
You don't have to. You can look because they're wider, because they're bigger, and that doesn't take a lot. And then they have a section for he, she's, but like I said, usually men's on one side, women's on the other side. And then they're more expensive in one place, the cheaper ones in one place. That's the way they do things.
I'm going to get crazy clown frames. I am. I swear to God, I'm going to get purple frames
Yeah.
like all the other weirdos do in this country. I'm going to dye my hair green.
Yeah, Kathy B wants to know if anybody had any luck going to Babette's warehouse sale.
Where?
That they have once a month. Babette's, they have a warehouse sale once a month. And I was going to go last week or weekend before, well, the last sale that they had anyhow with VJ, and we just didn't make it. But yeah, I've heard some people say that they've got some really good deals. You know, Babette's is kind of pricey. They got good stuff, but they're kind of pricey. So when they have a warehouse sale, you know, you can get some good buys, is what I've heard. But like I said, I've not been able to go there yet. Might try that out this week. Never know, but it's in Leesburg. Their warehouse sale. Louise Histek is taking Mom out today. She's 92 with a walker, plus a step stool to get in my SUV. I pack my patience. I am lucky to have her. You bet. You bet. You take whatever you need to take Mom out. And I said, because at 92, it's wonderful that she can still get around, period.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what we did with Dad. We had, sometimes it took us a long while to get him somewhere, but Sue, she was watching by herself. I think I was still working. I'm not sure. But anyway, she sent me pictures where she had taken Dad to his favorite, up north I'm talking about. He had a favorite ice cream place he liked to go to, Navajo's, which has been on TV several times.
Ivanhoe's.
Ivanhoe's, Ivanhoe's, that's what it is. And sometimes it's a struggle, you know. Somebody can't hardly walk, or they got Alzheimer's, they get lost in the bathroom. So sometimes getting Dad in Ivanhoe's and getting him what he wants and getting him out of there could be a little bit of a struggle.
But it was just wonderful having him around. So, you know. And I said, your parents are precious. You don't get another set. Jerry Bell says, Kathy B in 603, we purchased a lot of stuff from Babette's warehouse sale. Said good deals, but it's $200 for delivery. Normally it's $99 at the regular store. So, yeah, they have a way of getting their money back, don't they? But they do have, like I said, I've heard they have a lot of good deals there. So, and I said, I may check it out. I said, is it this weekend? It's the, because it's like the first weekend of the month. I think it's the only time they have it. So, but you know me, I like a bargain. TR Main says, hello, Skip and Sue. I'm watching you live today because school is out for the third day in a row. Should return tomorrow. Florida weather looks great today. Well, it's beautiful. I mean, sun's shining and everything, just a little bit on the chilly side. But we ain't got nothing like you guys got, so we're thankful for that. So you be careful. Stay warm. If you guys got to go back to school tomorrow, why, you know the traffic will be hectic with bad weather out there, so be careful.
Where are they from?
They're in, I believe, is it Oklahoma?
This must be cold in Oklahoma. Or did they get a lot of snow? Or ice. Oklahoma is good for ice.
Yeah, well, she said they'd been out of school for 3 days, so. Yeah, and Kathy B says she thinks she's pretty sure it's this weekend for the Babette's sale.
Where's Robin at? Come and think about it.
That was Robin. TR Mains, that's Robin.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, I can't put two and two together.
Yeah.
So,
And,
so the old man's out driving? Now think about this, because her husband drives for a living, right? Delivers, if I remember right. He's out in a truck, in the ice and the snow, delivering packages to ungrateful people. She's a school teacher that has a heated room, sits on her ass and back behind the desk talking to students, and she's out of school.
You got to get to school, you know.
He's out in the truck, driving in the
No,
snow
she
and the
didn't
ice.
say. She didn't say where he
Hey,
was.
is the old man out there? We had snow and negative. Is your old man out there driving the truck today, making deliveries? I want to know why a school teacher is sitting home when the old man's out in the truck driving.
Yeah, and Laura says, yes, you're lucky to still have your mom. You bet. Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Well, probably couldn't stop him. You men are kind of hard-headed.
Good thing I'm not the school superintendent.
Oh, and Jerry Bell
You don't
said,
show up for school, you're not getting paid.
well, if they shut the school, there ain't nothing you can do. Let's see. Jerry.
Tell your old man I'm thinking of him because I know how hard it is for truckers to be out there in that snow.
Yeah. Oh, and Craig the Sailor and Nicole says just go to Costco Optical. We would.
I thought about it. Sue called them.
Yeah.
And it was like a 6-month waiting period to get the eye doctor.
Yeah, this Costco here is very new, and it seemed like everybody, because I thought about the hearing aid, the same thing at Costco, you know, and found out a little bit more about it, and so didn't go there. But yeah, I went and had my eyes tested at Costco, and the lady at Costco could not help me. I have to go to somebody that makes hard contacts. But yeah, you know, I was able to get in, but that was, you know, a couple months ago, and now they're backed up so far. And I said, he's big on do it now.
Well, normally, because we got so far behind because of stuff, normally I try to get all this doctor kind of stuff out of the way during the summer months, like October. October's my month. That's before the snowbirds actually start to arrive. That way all winter long I don't have to worry about this. And you can see why. 6 months waiting to get into Costco, 2 months to get a doctor appointment over here.
Well, and it's, you know, it's not that there's anything wrong with them. And like I said, they're just so busy because this Costco is new and everybody wanted to go there because people told them they could get a bargain at Costco. So, you know, they were so filled up that it was months before you could get in. So, but I was able to get in when I first went there. You know, I was able to get in, but they weren't able to help me. But that's, you know, kind of one of those things where there's not a whole lot of places around here that makes the hard contact.
BJ
So.
says men's glasses are in the smaller brain section.
There you go. Thanks, BJ. Jokester says, hey, hi guys on your porch. Yeah, we're on the back porch today, or what they call the lanai here in Florida, because of it being so chilly out. And I said, we got a little bit of wind. So and I said, we're used to Florida. We're used to Florida weather. So it got cold out here today for us. You know, I take Buddy out in the morning, and I said he argues about putting his coat on, but I won't take him out without it. When it's below 50, he's going to put his coat on or he ain't going out. So
Yeah.
he's like
I
a
should
small
do a video
kid.
and show you who wins that game.
You know, I chase him around the footstool all morning long. But he's got a coat now that zips up the back, and that's a little bit easier. I don't have to pull it over his head, and you know. I
How
don't
chilly is it? Well, this morning when I got up at 9:30. It was 44.
Yeah.
I think.
When
I
I got
don't
up,
know
it
what it
was-
was when she goes out. She
it
goes out
was-
when it's dark.
No, it wasn't dark, but it was 7 o'clock. But it was like 30, 31, something like that. So it was
And
pretty
it's going
chilly.
to be that way pretty much the rest of the week.
Yeah. That's why I said that's what's unusual. It's not that, you know, that we don't have cold weather. It's unusual for it to
Nah,
stick
usually
around.
it's like a day or two, and then it pops back up, and then another cold snap will come through for a day or two, and then
Yeah.
it pops. So this was kind of hanging on, but it's not normal, but it may be normal in the future. You know, the weather in the world, it seems like it's changing.
Yeah.
And we
it
never
gets
had this problem till people like Jerry moved here.
And it gets decent during the daytime. When I said the high today is supposed to be 60, and that's doable weather. You know, that's working weather. You can go out and get some work done in your yard and what have you. But
You went down?
yeah, the 30s and 40s. That's, you know, if it hangs
yeah.
on like this,
Yeah.
we're not used to that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Here, buddy. Buddy,
Yeah,
Okay.
chili is winter food. That's true.
you want it?
Jen Smith says Walmart has optometrists and a wide selection of frames. You can even take your prescription from another place there. Yes, I did. I went to the Walmart to the eye doctor when we lived in Brownsburg. I haven't done it here, but I did it the one in Brownsburg, and I liked it because it was very expedient. Yeah, but I've never tried it here. But that's why I talk
Expedient.
quick.
And I was just thinking, there's a drink to help you go poop. It's called Expedient.
No, it's Imodium. Yeah, and Buddy's only quiet, it only lasted for a few minutes. It might not last the whole 2 hours. You just never know with him.
Buddy is the way Buddy is, and I've had a couple people complain about his barking. I get it. I get tired of it too. But Buddy's Buddy. He's not going anywhere. We're not getting rid of him. We'll just try to work with him to keep him from barking. I give him donuts or whatever else he wants to shut him up. But if it bothers you that much, I just simply say, I just wouldn't watch. I just go somewhere else because we do what we can do. And
This is his house too.
huh?
This is his house too.
Yeah, it's his house. I mean, he knows it. And the funny thing is, this is really what's funny, is like this is Wednesday. And Buddy seems to know all morning what day this is, right?
Right.
He runs back and forth to the rooms. He'll come out here. He'll go back in there. He'll bark for a while. He'll whine for a while. Then he comes back out here. He knows today's the day for porch setting.
Yeah. And I say he goes to the front door, and I say, no, we're not going out there this morning. But he knows somehow. Jerry says Sunday morning the low is supposed to be 20. Yeah, I've seen that. And they said with the wind chill, it would feel like 10. And I said, last time I felt 10 degrees.
I can't speak for every neighborhood, but I know yesterday when we were going to the eye doctor, leaving our neighborhood, it seemed like on that one road over there, and they're here too. She got bushes covered up over here. You can't see them. But anyway, going down that road over here, Boise, I think it is, it looks like there's a construction going on. There's
Everybody got their
tarps
plants
everywhere.
covered up. Yeah. And I said, I heard some people talking about their pipes freezing and stuff like that. Now, that's not something we've always worried about, but things aren't buried underground real far here. So, if it would last too long, yeah, that might be a problem. But,
You go to some of the older retirement communities where it's a lot of trailers, house trailers, I'll call them. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, they're clean areas. But we saw many of them where they have like a water softener added to their house and it's sitting outside next to the house. I mean, it's just sitting outside. Yeah. So I'd worry about those.
Yeah. And M. Mitch says it's 45 in my neck of Utah and no snow here either. Well, that's good. I said 45 is doable. Put on your coat, put on your big coat, and go outside. Get some sunshine. Grace Bird says, I left Richmond, Virginia last Wednesday. I drove to the Villages. I knew I'd be trapped in my house from the storm. My neighbors can't get out of their driveway or neighborhood. Might get 10 inches this weekend. Glad I left. Well, yeah. Like I said, I've got all kinds of pictures from my family in Indiana, and all the what the highways looked like, and the snow in the backyard and all that kind of thing. And my only question was, what are you doing outside? What are you doing out in the car? You should be home where it's warm. So, and she joked, says, I saw something that said 10 here this weekend. Yeah, like I said, they said with the wind blowing, it could be feels like temperature. You know how on the news they always put the feels like temperature? Or what did they used to call it? It wasn't feels like, it was, what did they used to call it when the wind was blowing? It was a different temperature. They didn't say feels like, they used to say
The wind chill.
wind chill, yeah. Used to say the wind chill, but the wind chill is supposedly maybe 10. So, Laura said, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button to show your support for the channel. Yeah, let us know that you're listening to us. We like knowing if there's somebody out there. We have the regulars here always, and like I said, but there's a lot of you that don't comment, and if you do, it's very, very little. So we like to know you're out there. Give us a thumbs up and let us know you're there. And TR says, we love you, buddy. Don't worry about the barking. Well, yeah,
Well, we
some
don't
days-
worry about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. It's just a lot of people like to complain about it. I'm just trying to help other people out. I'd say if you don't like it, move on.
Yeah, and she jokes or says that dog trainers fix the owners. That's true. Yeah.
Well, we had Buddy to a dog trainer. She did for a while, trying to teach him a little something. Didn't teach him anything really.
Well, they did teach him to sit.
He sits.
Yeah.
That's what they. $180. He sits.
Yeah, and they taught him to. The best thing in the world that they taught him was drop it, because
Only with a treat.
Yeah, it was all treat driven. You have to have a treat, but you can get him to do just about anything if you have a treat. So, but he's getting so he wants to eat those all the time now. But let's see. Barking is very annoying with homes 10 foot away. That's true. Yeah, like I said, we're fortunate we don't have any big dogs. A lot of big dogs in there. Most
Well, the
of
way
them are
our
small.
houses are built here for sound, I'll call it sound protection. If you pay attention, if you're not from here, you wouldn't know this. Almost, I'll say 90% of the homes, my house next to their house, my garage is next to their house, their garage is next to my house. So we have two big garages here before it gets into the living space.
Right.
Same as over here. That's a big garage right there. And it kind of buffers everything. And all the time we've been here, the only barking I've ever heard in my house, and I'll admit my hearing ain't the best in the world either, but the only barking I've ever heard has never been in somebody's house. It's always been a dog out front in the street they're walking and it barks at I don't know, a golf cart going by or something like that. That's it. I've never really heard dogs barking here. The other problem that I hear about dogs barking, it always seems like it's in a courtyard villa area, because people have a tendency to turn their dogs loose in the courtyard area, which is fine, but then they forget them and leave them out there. And then they get to barking at this or that, and then the neighbor next door, you know. And you don't really hear that complaint that often, but it does happen.
Yeah, especially when it's renters. Let's see. And she says, Louise says, dogs are supposed to bark. They are. That's how they communicate with you. They bark, and I can usually tell when Buddy's barking because he's being a pain in the butt, or if he has to go out.
He has different barks.
Yeah.
He has a particular bark that I don't know, but when he has a particular kind of like a yip. I don't know how to describe it. And Sue says that he wants to go out. Now, I wouldn't know that. I just thought he just had a funny bark, but she said that's his bark to go out. He likes to walk twice a day, and I don't know what's going to happen when she goes on a cruise, because I'm not walking him. I'll take him out to the yard, walk around the yard, but I'm not walking down the road and all that. I'm not doing it. So he better learn to poop in the yard. That's all I got to say.
Oh, Laura said there might be another snowstorm heading up the East Coast this weekend. Yeah, they're talking about it. Yeah, that's why I say I feel so much for you guys, but you know, it is what it is. You know where we're at.
Said my town did a bad job plowing. Well, Lane, I don't know all about New Jersey, but I've been through Jersey several times in the truck on the interstate. The problem with New Jersey is, the way I see it, it's overpopulated. And the houses and the streets are narrow. People park on the road. This is one of the reasons why I hate street parking, is from what I've seen from past areas of the United States. They park on the street because they don't have really room to park on their own property. And then when the guy comes by to plow snow, it blocks everybody in because there's nowhere for the snow to go.
Yeah. And the Ground Zero says hello from Northwest Arkansas. Hello. Don't see Arkansas that often.
Arkansas is a nice state. The people there have kind of it's kind of two different kinds of people the way I see it. You divide Arkansas down the middle. The left side is like a Texas attitude. The right side is like a Tennessee attitude.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I swear to God, if you go to Memphis, Tennessee and talk to them and see how they are about this and that, you cross that river right there, now you're in Arkansas, but you don't even know it. There's a sign on the bridge that says welcome to Arkansas, but nobody pays attention to it. And when you talk to them people at the gas stations, whatever, you'll hear a lot of similarities in the accent and things like that. Once you get west of, I'll say, I don't even know, it's the center of Arkansas over, then you start hearing more of a Texas slang. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm not traveling that much. You have, but I haven't, so. Juicer says, obedience first to make you the boss, then that fixes the bad behavior. Well, it's kind of a toss-up here. Because Skip's loudest, if that makes you the boss.
What's that?
It said they have to teach them, you make them the boss.
But Buddy
That
thinks
makes
he's
lots
also the he's the herd leader right now because Sue lets him do that. He'll bark at her and bark at her and bark at her until she does what he wants her to do. I'm not that way. I tell him to shut up constantly.
Yeah,
But,
and that works really.
well, he knows that I'm not going to get up because he wants me to get up.
Well, I get up and see what he wants. But that's what she said, obedience first to make you the boss, and then that fixes the bad behavior. And that's why he is so bad sometimes, is because, I'm not good at that. So Laura says, some weather sources say the storm will stay off the coast. Some say it will affect cities on the coast near I-95. Yeah, Mother Nature's just laughing herself to death because, none of us know.
They got another nor'easter coming in?
They got another storm coming over the weekend.
A nor'easter?
I don't know.
The nor'easters is what's bad.
I haven't read exactly what, but I know they're expecting more snow. So
Well, I noticed on this last one, first of all, it was going to be a large snow event. And then they started recording about record lows here and there. Then they started talking about ice. It turned into some kind of an ice storm. And then when I was watching Russ Romania's video, I also seen another YouTube channel where the weather was calling it a blizzard. So he changed it 4 times.
well, like I said, it's like they do down here in the summer. They tell you it's going to rain and it's going to be hot.
Well, I like the hurricane
They don't have to
predictions.
say a whole lot.
I like the hurricane predictions. Those crack me up. Well, here's the recent computerized path of the hurricane. That's it right there.
Yeah.
They don't know where it's going.
Oh, Gringo Lucas says, I have a dog army that patrols my street at 4 a.m. I'm up anyway, but the half-hour incessant barking is next level. Yeah, sometimes.
At 4 a.m.?
Yeah.
There's a law about that here in Sumter County, in case you don't know.
Well, he's not in the States, so.
Oh, well then, if you're not here, you don't
There's
count.
probably a lot of them running around in there, Gringo.
Move to Ecuador, then you can eat the dog.
Oh, my. Let's see. And Doe Hunter says, hello from Milwaukee. 8 degrees, and Saturday it's going to be 20, a heat wave. I love the cold and snow. I'll be bow hunting deer on Saturday, sitting 18 foot up in a tree. I retired as a letter carrier.
Deer hunting. I used to like going deer hunting with my dad and Charlie, my dad's best friend. And we went to my uncle's cabin. He's my dad's uncle. I guess he'd be my great uncle. Up in Shingle House, Pennsylvania, which is kind of on the border of New York and Pennsylvania. God, I liked it up there. Problem is, I'm not much of a hunter. Let me show you my deer hunting profile. Up at the top of the mountain, you leave it at night. Time you get to your spot, if you find your spot, we used fluorescent tape and put it around the tree with a flashlight so you could find it. I'm sitting under the tree, got my rifle over here, got my poncho around me with snow, like a little tent around me, if you can imagine. Sterno heat, if you guys know what that is. A little can, you light it, and then you take the lid to control the heat. You slide it halfway across the sterno. It's underneath the here, so it keeps everything here warm inside, but the heat's coming up here out of your collar and your neck. And so my hunting position is this.
And it didn't make any sense for you to go hunting because you wouldn't kill anything. Oh, my goodness. Terry Spann says, hello from Mark and Terry Spann in Burleson, Texas. After canning 21 pints of pinto beans and 8 pints of chicken, the ice is finally melting. We're ready for the next freeze. Well, you got plenty of food.
Well, there's probably another one coming. Hopefully
Yeah.
not, but there probably is. It's still early. It's not even February yet. But about 2 more weeks, though, second week of February is actually kind of when our spring starts here.
Yeah. It won't last long. I mean, we can bitch about it, but it won't last long. So hopefully, this has been an odd year. So, let's see, the Riddler too says, Skip, where's your ice cap? Those Patriots need more support in Minnesota.
I wear that on the news, especially when I talk about the illegal immigrants that they constantly catch here and $50 fine and release them. And I'm just kind of making fun of the courts here, not the police. They're doing what they got to do, but the courts here, sometimes I just don't get it. Somebody's drunk, they run into 15 cars, and they get arrested, they go to court, $250 bond, which is like $25 out of their pocket, is because it's 10% bond, and they let them go. I just don't get it.
Yeah. And then I said, it's probably not real safe to wear those hats.
I'm not a judge. I know the judge has the ruling saying what the fines have to be, kind of like. But I'm from an era to where judges could invent things.
Yeah.
You know, well, I'll tell you what, I could impose a $150 fine, but seeing as how you destroyed that stop sign, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get you with the street department, and you're going to go reinstall that new sign. Make them go out and do it. You know, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. They used to reinvent your punishment.
And Frank Clark says, hi, Skip and Sue. Here in Idaho, it's 32 degrees, no snow, and we have not had much snow all year. Wow, well, good for you. I didn't realize, well, somebody had told me that Idaho didn't have that much. I think
I
Laura.
don't know about Idaho, but I know the state of Washington and Portland, but basically the state of Washington, they don't get as much snow as you think they do.
Well, I know Tom told me.
Yeah.
You know, that's where he lives, and he said they don't have as much snow as you
They
think.
made fun of me, and I forget what it's called, but it's some kind of a tropical thing. Like you have the southern tropics or here, and then up there, there's this little patch, and gosh, I wish I could remember the name of it, but it's some kind of a subtropical kind of thing right there where they get nothing but rain, a lot. That's why they have the prehistoric forest, and they got all this moss growing everywhere. That's part of that tropical area there.
Idaho?
Washington.
Oh, Washington, okay.
You know, Washington, W-A-R.
Oh, my goodness. Rich A says, my town has an ordinance, no cars on the street during snow events so they can clean the streets. Yeah, how's that working out for them? You know, I can't imagine, we've never lived in a city where we had street parking. And that was, even in the neighborhoods, that was a big faux pas with Skip. He did not like street
No.
parking, even if
No.
it was allowed. But I just wonder, you know, what do you do with your car?
What car?
I mean, when they say no cars parking because they got to clean the streets, what do you do with your car?
It's your problem. It's just the way they look at it. It's a city street. It's a public street. It's not a private parking lot. You have to move your car between this hour and that hour. They don't care what you do. Move it.
Huh.
It's just that simple. Or they'll give you a ticket. Or they could have it towed.
Yeah. Jen Smith says, haven't seen Judy P drop in a long time. Well, I think she's on here, Jen. She normally is. Just give her a holler. We'll see if she's still awake.
I haven't seen her.
Yeah.
Where'd you see her at?
Like I said, it was way back a while, so.
Oh.
Doug says, Skip, please live stream from the salon when you dye your hair. Are you going to dye your hair?
I said something a while ago about, you know, getting wacky, dyeing my hair and doing something. I forget what the conversation was about, but
Yeah. And let's see. Yeah, and Gringo says she was here earlier today. She was. I seen her on here earlier. And Jerry says Washington.
yeah. That's right, Washington. I know
Washington.
I know what it is.
And Rich A says you park on the lawn.
I guess you could if you get it up there.
Well, the thing is, if you know the
A
snow's
lot
bad
of
enough, they got to plow the street.
A lot of the houses that I've seen in older areas like New Jersey and some of it happens in Bronx once, you ain't parking in the lawn. There is no lawn.
Yeah.
It's like a sidewalk, steps, house is up there. So I mean that's how I picture things. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's all like that, but
And Jerry Bow says, how's the weather in North Dakota? Last time I talked to him, it was like 50 below.
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so you know, don't know what's going on now. I don't think they got any of the snow. That was too far north for that, but they got the cold air. And I just don't, you know, I'd had to be awful young to be able to stand it because I couldn't stand it now.
Well, they are young.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, and then Catherine Jacobs says one side of the street parking only during snowplow days.
Oh, is that what it is?
That would make more sense, yeah.
Sorry. During snowplow days, so that means all them cars on one side of the street have to find a place to park
Right,
because they can't park on this side because everybody's parked over here.
right. Yeah, no.
Listen, I can't live like that. I just can't. I unless I had to. If I had to, you do what you got to do. But I can't tell you how many times we've looked at houses in neighborhoods because, like I said, we always flipped them anyway. But I'm looking for upsides and downsides of selling a home, and one of them was street parking, and that was just my faux pas. And I would ask the real estate, do they allow street parking here? We're in the city limits. Do they allow street parking here? And I just can't stand that kind of thing. It's rude because if they allow street parking there, there's nothing to stop anybody from parking directly in front of your house. And I think that's just totally rude.
And Jim Smith says, I meant Judy P. In person to get after Skip.
Oh,
That's what he said, where's Judy?
She gets after me all the time.
Well, that's what she meant. Where's Judy when you need her?
Ah,
Oh, bless her heart. Yeah, it's,
as a matter of fact, she's the one I give my ticket to for the cruise to go with Sue because I'm not going.
yeah. Let's see. And Jerry, you know that the Washington thing. I ran into something else the other day, if I can remember what it was. Something about the way I said. Well, I mean they're always getting on to me about Spokane when it's Spokane. I guess it depends on where you come from, but you know we're from Indiana, and I said we just, however it comes out, that's how it comes out. Oh, it was Jose.
Hosey,
Yeah, I said the name of
Josie.
the same a country or something, and he corrected me with the right wording. But you know, where I'm from, that's what it sounded like. It's like Missouri or misery. Everybody that I lived around called it misery.
Y'all ain't from around here, are you? Pardon me, miss. You look like a meat eater.
Yeah.
Would you like a haunch of venison or a side of pork? What movie is that from? That's the most hilarious line of any movie I've. Pardon me, miss. You look like a meat eater.
What was that, Starman?
Starman.
Starman, yeah. That was a funny movie, actually. Laura says, my suburb doesn't allow overnight parking. If someone needs a few days of overnight parking, they can contact the police department for your permit.
Yeah. I don't mind that. You know, you got company coming in, parking's kind of an issue thing, you know, maybe get a 3-day permit or something. I don't mind that so much, but I'm talking about the average, ordinary day of what I call, I better not say because it'll piss somebody off. But anyway, people that it's just a way of life. They don't think anything about it. I mean, in some places I've seen on news and other places where people will go to work and they set their trash barrel out there in front of their house to save their parking spot.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, are you serious?
Yeah. And Brock Reynolds says, I live in Missouri. I love it. Well, that's what I said, you know, how do you pronounce it? And I said, I lived on Kentucky Avenue, and everybody there was from, they always said misery. They never said Missouri, or, you know, they always said misery. And I always thought that was so funny, but, you know, I went with it. And I said that, you know, when the ball games were on, everybody was wondering about, you know, the IU people, all the Hoosiers.
Hey, didn't IU win? Come to think about it.
They did.
I thought they did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and,
I watched it, part of it, not all of it.
But yeah, they made fun of it and always, you know, where did the Hoosiers come from? And I said, we were always taught that it come from the pioneers knocking on somebody's door, and they'd always say, who's there?
Who's there?
So that's where Hoosiers
that's where
supposedly
Hoosiers
come from. But
Who's there?
Who knows?
See,
Yeah.
I was always taught that Hoosier, the nickname Hoosier came from Who's Your Mama, Who's Your Daddy.
I don't think so, but. And Gringo Loca says, my mom was born and raised in Missouri, and she pronounced it
Missouri.
Missouri. Yeah.
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 It's kind of like people in Louisville. We call it Louisville, always have. The people in Louisville don't call it Louisville. It's
Call it Louisville?
like Louisville, something like that.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, but like I said, it was just, you know.
How about New Orleans? People from New Orleans don't say New Orleans.
No.
New Orleans, something like
Yeah.
that.
Well, like I said, it all depends on where you live at. So, and I said, we're from Indiana. So we got a little bit of the Kentucky thing going on, a little bit of Michigan. So it's a little bit in between, I think.
Well, the history of Indiana is everybody, well, not today, but at one point, everybody in Indiana had some relative that came from the South. Everybody. Even though they deny it. They can't deny it. And there's a long history about why that is. Oh, I ain't got time for the history lessons.
Okay.
Somebody told me that I talk too much anyway, so, you know.
Yeah, Brock Reynolds says y'all would have a hard time in Kansas City. Some of these old neighborhoods, none of the houses have driveways. They were built before cars.
Right, and that's what I'm talking about, that.
Yeah.
They got no choice but to park on the street. And then when you want something done, I mean, just think about it. You go to work, you got a hard job. Maybe you worked overtime that day. You know, now you got to come home, you got to cook food for the kids after you picked them up with the babysitters or whatever they call that nowadays. You go to the house and there's cars parked in front of your goddamn house and you can't even get in, you know, without carrying the kids 5 blocks to get. That's what I'm talking about. I could not live like that.
Well, it was funny. Last weekend I went to visit the Deb. You know, she lives down in Mount Dora now, and she lives at Waterman Village. It's a beautiful place down there. But behind them, they've got this big, huge fence, and there's a video coming. I just haven't got it done yet. They've got this big, huge fence behind them, and a dirt berm,
Oh, I got to get a cup of coffee.
and then the fence is on top of that. But they built houses behind where they live, and they built houses across there, and we were taking a golf cart ride, and she was showing me around, and she told me, said, you know, none of those houses have garages. I said, none? She said, no. So they're beautiful little homes, but none of them have garages. And a whole neighborhood. Never heard of that before. So it's kind of a surprise. But again, we had a good time. We only get to spend, you know, a few hours together, but, you know, we don't get together that often, but it was really, really nice. But she showed me, when I do get the video done, she took me on a golf cart ride, and I said the area that she's in was where they had, back in October, they had all this rain, like 17 inches of rain. It started raining and just didn't quit. Well, and she lives in a place that a lot of the water gathered around, and one of the streets getting to her house, you can get to their gate to get in, and that's as far as you can get because the road was washed out. But anyhow, she took me on the golf cart trail, and I got a few videos of what went on because the water come up behind the houses where she lived, and it come up just to basically up to behind her neighbor's house. So they weren't affected, but behind her neighbor's house and all the way down to where the street level was, it was all washed out. And they trucked in tons and tons of dirt to fill it in. But anyhow, I got a few videos of that. And they still have, on one side the newer side, and the other side is an older side. And on the older side, they've still got a lot of people, there are like 50 people, I believe she said, that are still in hotels. And this is from October. But they're still in hotels because they're having to redo the whole insides of their houses. And we went by a bunch of pods where people had to put stuff in pods while they tore out their cabinets and tore up the flooring and everything else. They had their stuff in pods. But all the way down the street there was all these pods sitting around. And I just got to thinking, you know, this is a retirement place. And you could imagine people 70s and 80s and some in their 90s, and they're having to redo everything. And it's just so sad to think about that. And she said they come around like at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and evacuated them. So, you know, just take what you have to take, your medicine and what have you. And they evacuated them, took them to the hotel, and said that Waterman's been really good about it, bringing them back and forth to where they could, you know, get stuff out of their house or check on things or get their meals because their meals are all furnished there. And she said they've been really good about that. But could you imagine having to be relocated since October in a hotel? That, you know.
You know why women are always cold?
I know what you think.
What?
I seen a comment that you made. I wasn't the only one that's seen it either. I thought that's the dumbest thing you ever said.
Well, let me repeat it.
Oh, well, go ahead.
It's because God made him to be next to an oven or a stove.
You're so goofy.
What do you call 2 lesbians that sleeping in a tent? Finger hut.
That's not funny. That's not nice.
I don't care.
Okay.
This world's getting me too damn sensitive.
Let's see. WrestleMania says, I hope Skip turns off his mic if he has to go pee again.
What do you say?
Hope you turn off your mic if you have to go pee again.
Oh, yeah,
Fortunately, he just went to get coffee.
I forget about that all the time.
Laura says, my hometown of Dubuque, Iowa has a lot of neighborhoods built from the late 1800s and early 1900s. No garages in those neighborhoods. Well, yeah, and I can understand it back then, but today, building a whole neighborhood with no garages, that just sounded odd to me. And I know, that the older sections have carports. A lot of them don't have garages.
But at least they get off the street.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I'm saying, get off the street.
Yeah, but like I said, behind Deb's, they built this whole neighborhood that no garages.
There's a lot of things up in the Northeast and the older cities that are just not right for today's world. Chicago is one of the worst. It's always been the worst. It's in the trucker's manual. It has more low underpasses in Chicago than any other city in the United States.
Huh.
And with the semi-trucks being 13 foot 6 inches tall, how come they still have 10-foot underpasses in the city?
Oh, and Craig the Sailor says the neighbor next door to my mother-in-law continually parks in front of her house. He and I had to have an understanding the other day.
I understand.
Yeah.
That would get on my nerves to the point where I don't know what I would do. Well, first of all, I probably wouldn't buy in the city, but.
Yeah. Or that,
I always thought, though, in the back of my mind, like Indianapolis, if you don't realize it, downtown Indianapolis is actually super clean. And it's actually super safe.
Now, we haven't been there in a long time.
No, when we were there. I haven't been there in a while, but when we were there. It's a very walkable city. Grocery stores that you don't even know they're there, but they're there. And I always thought, it'd be interesting to live in an apartment in one of these high-rises down here where you can just go out the door and just walk wherever you want to go.
Yeah. And Doug says the wind chill in Maryland is 8. Wow.
8, where?
In Maryland. And that's kind of what it's going to be like this weekend here.
8?
They said 10 with the wind chill.
I don't count wind chill.
Well,
There's no wind in here.
not inside.
Oh, it's 74.
But that's why I said, you don't have to worry.
It's 74 in here.
It's 74 in here.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great.
That's what I told him. You
And
didn't.
look out there, there's the sun.
You were telling everybody, you didn't need a coat. You had a sweater and you had long pants, but you don't need them because you don't go outside.
Well, I do, but I don't get as cold as women do here. Women have a tendency to be cold all the time. That's why I made that joke.
Because normally they don't have as much fat on them.
I had this on because it was yesterday when we had to go
Yes,
walking to see the eye doctor that
Yeah.
I did not even have an appointment at because somebody made the appointment at the wrong place.
That's true. Brock Reynolds says, I can't imagine. That's why I couldn't move to a retirement place. I can't leave a lifetime of memories and familiarity. Well, that wasn't as hard as what I figured, Brock, really, as far as leaving the familiarity, because we lived in a neighborhood. It was a wonderful neighborhood, but most everybody had family around and they worked all the time, and so you didn't see them anyhow.
No.
It
It was a working neighborhood. Everybody worked.
Yeah, and
even the people that had children that were, say, 19 and 20 still living at home, most of them had jobs. And they just stayed home for whatever reason, probably because they could save money. But
the only time you see them is when they got the John Deere out, They get out to mow the yard.
that was on Saturday.
Yeah,
Saturday.
all the guys, they took turns seeing who could mow the yard first.
Hey, I see you got the new double whopper John Deere.
But yeah.
I used to take my John Deere and park it next to our garden so I could lean down and pick up a tomato. I carried salt on my John Deere tractor so I could eat a tomato with salt.
Oh my.
There's nothing wrong with that, is there?
No.
There was another neighbor down the road that had a little trailer he made that went behind his John Deere, and because he had a big yard to mow, he would put ice in it and a 6-pack of beer. And he would mow his
He had
crap.
his cooler just like you'd have on the
He had
golf
his
cart. He
cooler
had his
back
cooler on
there.
his John Deere. Yeah, and Jerry wants to know, Skip, why wasn't Healthy Home Cooking in Rustler's snow blowing video?
What now?
Why wasn't Healthy Home Cooking in Rustler's snow blowing video?
How would I know? I'm
They
not
thought you'd
married.
have a joke for that.
Oh, is there? I don't know.
Yeah, Laura
Ask
said,
Wrestler, he's right there.
let's see. Frank says,
You know, the truth is he's probably blowing snow because she was getting on his nerves. That's what men do. When the wife gets on gets on their little tantrums, the man will go out in the garage and work on the car. It doesn't need nothing, but they'll go out there and work on the car, turn the radio on. Or in his case, he goes outside in the snow and he blows snow around because she ain't going out there. Why? Because it's cold. She's cold because she needs to get closer to the oven and the stove.
okay, Frank says 2 feet of snow in Boston, constantly digging their cars out. Another Arctic storm coming for the East Coast. Yes, yes. And that, you know, I feel for you people, but you know where Florida's at.
Well, they
And I
just
said, you know, it's not that it's warm here. Like I said, it's cold here today, but you don't have to shovel no snow.
Where did Rick move?
Huh?
Rick. He let us park our RV on his property next to that pond when we went to California to see Linda.
Palm Springs.
Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Palm Springs is a great place to live if you can afford it down there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not cheap.
But he's in Boston. Frank is in Boston.
Who?
Frank is in Boston.
I didn't ask for Frank with it.
Oh, okay.
So where did Rick move? See, this is how I ended up getting an appointment at some other doctor.
Hey, I run your life. Don't you worry about it. Doug says, why is there all of a sudden, there are a lot of videos about people leaving the villages? Doug, it's a lot of clickbait, you know?
Clickbait, clickbait, clickbait.
So many people are trying to get in on the video thing, and they want people to come to the channel. I don't know if y'all have seen the clown. It's making fun of Skip, but it gets old after a while. But like, it's clickbait. They're wanting you to come to see what else he has to say.
If you see a thumbnail, and on the thumbnail it says, the village's disaster is coming, just move on. You can watch it for entertainment, I suppose, but real estate people are coming down and telling you about why prices are going to go to the gutter, why they're going to go to the basement. You know, just move on.
And then while we're at it, you know, the housing has slowed down everywhere. Not just here, but everywhere. This housing has slowed down. And then we can see it. But I don't see a big, there are people still buying here. You know, they're selling 250 homes a month here. So it's not, those videos, I said, it's just trying to get you to come to the channel. Most of them.
Yeah. Most of them don't know what they're talking about anyway. Half of them people that have them videos, they don't even live here. They don't even live in the state of Florida. But for some reason, though, I will say that clickbait works because I've watched them myself, and I look for things that you're not looking at. I'm looking like, how many subscribers has this person got? Because this channel must, you know, I know they don't know what they're talking about. And then they have like 300-some thousand subscribers. So that clickbait stuff works. I just choose not to do it.
Kevin says, hey, y'all, just got done playing pickleball. Stay safe and keep warm. Go get him, Kevin. Bless your heart. You get out there and play no matter what the temperature is. But this is probably a good day for pickleball. I mean, it's, you know, it's not hot and it's not too cold if you're running around like that. So
That's how you end up getting a cold.
Yeah.
Get all hot and sweaty and breathing in that cold air.
Oh, and Laura says trucks get stuck under the viaducts in the city of Chicago. Yeah, and that's just exactly what he means. They have more low bridges and viaducts than anywhere.
I can remember once I had a semi and I called a lady. I'm not going to make any comments on this because every time I do, I piss people off. And she gives, this is back in the day, we didn't have GPS, didn't have any of that stuff. Yeah. I called her up, it was in downtown Chicago, and they didn't want me to deliver until sometime after midnight because of traffic.
Come here.
So I call them up and I said, give me directions down there. Here's where I am. And they give me, oh yeah, go down this exit, get off, turn right, go down 3 blocks, turn left, all that. And I'm writing all this down. So I get there. And then all of a sudden I come up to a 10-foot something viaduct. I can't go underneath of it. And I'm on a narrow street in Chicago.
And you call them pups, which you can't back up.
Yeah, I had to call the cops because people behind me are blowing horns and I can't go under this bridge and they can't get around me. I mean, it was just a fiasco. But when the cop got there, he said, where are you going? I said, well, here's the directions I got, and I gave it to him. He looked at him. He goes, oh, he said, you're wanting to go to that building right there. It was just on the other side of the viaduct. That's where I wanted to go, but I couldn't get there. So he helped me get turned around and so I could go in the other way. I got in there and I found the lady. And I said, hey, your directions, before you give them to somebody else, you got to know, we can't come in this way. She says, why not? She says, I come in that way to work all the time. I said, there's a 10-foot viaduct out there. Oh, you know, I never thought about that. This is why I learned. I don't take directions from any receptionist at any building anymore. Well, I don't anymore, but you know what I mean.
Oh, and Gringer Locust, I was surprised at how nice downtown Indy is. The area around the statue was first class. It is. That's always been nice. I used to take my granddaughters down there, and they had, at one time, they don't anymore, I don't think, but they had the blue bus. The blue line would take you all over Indy. And I said, you get on that bus and it'd take you all over to all the sites, to the museums, to to the statues downtown and all the stuff that you'd want to sightsee. So you get on the blue line and you just get off where you wanted to see, and then get back on when you've seen another one come around. And I take my granddaughters down there, and we go down to the canal downtown and take the little boats down the canal, and we just had a great time. I've heard that they have a lot more meanness going on downtown now than what they used to have, but that's kind of everywhere. But like I said, it used to be, it's a wonderful walking city, really was.
I used to take the granddaughters down to the baseball games.
Yeah.
I had fun doing that because if it's not a big game, and most of them there aren't what you say World Series kind of games, but they're good games. And the Indianapolis Indians were the farming team for the Cincinnati Reds, and then they would move up from the Indians up to the Reds when they called them up. But we'd go there, and I'd take the granddaughters there because they were really good there about giving the younger people at the games stuff. They had these little air guns where they shoot T-shirts out in the audience for the kids. They'd catch a ball and they would toss it up to the kids and all that kind of thing.
And it was a big stadium, but it was small enough that you felt like, you were at your hometown baseball game.
It's a big stadium, but you could look out in the outfield and people's got blankets and picnics out there in the middle of the outfield watching the game.
But it was kind of nice, so. Rester says, during my snow removal video, my jaw started to hurt. I think he meant jaw. My jaw started to hurt. Went to doctor, have inner and outer ear infection, raspy lung, and sinus infection. Other than that, the appointment went well.
That cold air, man, I'm telling you, get in your ear, get in your lungs, and when you get older, you could do that when you were in your 20s and 30s, but then you get to a certain age to where, I'm not saying stay out of it, I'm just simply saying just beware. Wear earmuffs. There's a reason for that, so that cold air can't get in your ear. And don't breathe so much, or wear what do they call them things that goes around your face.
It's a muffler.
Keeps you from breathing cold air.
Yeah, a muffler, yeah.
I ain't kidding you, because you get pneumonia, you can die.
Yeah. Well, and he said, no wonder I lost my balance on the snowdrift. Yeah.
I had an ear infection one time, and that's true. I used to get, all of a sudden, just get so dizzy, I just felt immediately sick in my stomach. And I didn't know what it was. I went to the doctor, and he told me, he said, you've got a simple ear infection. A couple of antibiotics later, and I was fine, but God.
Craig the Sailor and Nicole said, Laura, Spokane just got double-decker buses this last year. I told Nicole it was going to be less than a year before they rammed it into a bridge. 2 weeks ago it happened. Yep. And I said that's something they don't take in consideration when they, because when they put these bridges up, a lot of times, your road is, when they put those in, they repave the roads. So, your roads get a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit, or the bridge settles, that kind of thing. And so, that was something that, with owning a trucking company, we had to be very aware of where they were going because of that.
And the only thing I really know about the New York City area, from what I can remember, this is one of the reasons why I said those people can starve. I'll never take another load up there in my life, and I didn't, was you could spend a fortune on toll roads in a semi-truck. Everywhere we went was a toll road, a toll bridge. God, it was just crazy.
Oh. And he said, how the young cooking wasn't outside. She was inside making me some miso soup to warm up.
Is that cat soup?
No.
Cat soup?
No. Not cat soup.
Oh, I thought that was Chinese for cat.
Miso, yeah.
Yeah, it's Chinese for cat.
It's vegetarian, so.
Chinese for cat.
Okay.
Prove me wrong.
I don't care. Ruck Reynolds says, I understand why people like to move, but they are in a high snow area. Our average in central Missouri is 11 inches a year, so it's manageable. Yeah, and...
That's what she said.
Yeah. And I said, if you're happy with where you're at, that's fine. I just couldn't take it anymore, and I say, slipped, busted my head open in the ice, and I said...
Oh, that was funny.
It was not funny.
Well, I'm just saying the whole scene. Let me paint you a picture. It's cold. She goes out to the mailbox every morning, and it's snow and there's ice, and we got a real big wood deck, and there's steps that goes down to the driveway to walk out to the mailbox. So she goes outside, and she comes. I'm in bed sleeping because I hadn't been home that long from working. It was like 4 in the morning or something. And she comes in there and she got blood running down her face. She said, I think I need to go to the hospital. I said, I wake up and I said, okay. So I grab my pants, we go, so what's going on? She said, I slipped out there and I fell and I banged my head on the bricks down the step. And then she looks up and she goes, I'm not doing this anymore. Next year, you'll know where I'll be. So we had the patio villa down here.
I was serious. You know, that was it for me. But yeah, and a lot of people love it. I've got a brother who lives up by Chicago, and he loves the cold weather. You know, they go skiing and they go to Canada for vacation because of the cold weather up there and all the lakes and streams and what have you. And not for me, but you know.
I don't mind the cold weather. I just don't like the blistering cold weather. And I don't mind snow so much if it snows today and then by Wednesday it's gone.
Yeah.
But when you have the blizzards like what Pennsylvania just had over there, where you have to go out there and watching him use that snowblower just brought back memories of this cold stuff blowing back in your face. It's like, oh God.
Yeah, yeah. And as I had, at one time I had frostbite I walked to school. When I was young, and I had to walk to school, and I got frostbite on both my hands. And so when it gets 50 degrees or below, I've got to put my gloves on because my hands ache like a toothache when it gets that cold. And
well, I think
dumb as it
everybody,
is.
when you get older, you start noticing things because you hear it all the time. My grandma used to say it. I'm sure you guys had grandparents or whatever. Well, I can tell by the way my hip feels, it's probably going to rain tonight. You know, we've all heard it, right? Well, it's true.
Kevin says it was beautiful at noon. I know, you know, the sun's just shining. It's beautiful out. It's just a little bit chilly for me. And
Let me see if I can turn this around so you can kind of at least see what we see out my hip, out the back of the eye. Where's it at? I think it's right there. I'm not going to touch it because I'll probably screw it up, but that's what we look at out the back.
there's a few puffy little clouds over there.
Yeah, we got some puffy clouds. It's got blue skies. It looks nice, doesn't it? Until you walk out there and it's 45 degrees.
Well, and I said my watch says it's 53, so it's probably closer to 60 because my watch is always a little bit back. Okay. Well, Rizzo says we are waiting on the delivery of our new entertainment center. One box came yesterday, 2 more for today.
Who's that?
Rizzo. Yeah, and I haven't ordered mine yet. I figured I'd wait until after the cruise because we got to put it together. I know that's what you're doing, but they had so many. I didn't find any in the stores that I liked. I finally got rid of the old one, but I didn't find any in the stores that I liked, and so ordered them offline. I don't like ordering stuff like that offline because you never know what you're getting. And I said to send something like that back.
Same thing as like when you have to order a bride online. How many people do you know that dating people from some dating app? That's what I'm talking about. You don't know anything. There's a picture there. Kind of reminds me of these real estate women down here. They'll give you a card, and there's a picture of this lady that sells. Look at her. She's 30 years younger than she actually really is.
You know, you don't make those cards every day, so I understand that part. But yeah, I don't know what kind you're getting, Mr. Rizzo, but yeah, I'm having that decision to make myself is what kind to get, and I just, like I said, I hate the idea of it because it's going to be big. It's going to come in 2 or 3 boxes, and
What is?
the entertainment center.
What entertainment center? We're not getting an entertainment center. You got your TV hung on a wall. We're not getting an entertainment center. That's why you hang it on the wall, so you don't need an entertainment center.
What part of when I get done with the living room did you not understand?
God, I'm gonna move in the garage.
Okay, but yeah, I understand. It's been a trial. Craig the Sailor says 6 people ended up in the hospital because the bus driver decided to follow GPS instead of the route he was supposed to be on. Yes, you know that they put that stuff on there for a reason. But like I said, just because the GPS tells you to go left, you know, you better be looking to where you're going. Because sometimes I've seen him go into some really sketchy places.
Yeah, especially the one in the motorhome. It's specially made for trucks and motorhomes. You put the length, the height, the weight, all this stuff in it. And that way it doesn't take you down roads that's got a weight limit bridge or anything like that. And we've actually left, I remember last one was Buc-ee's. We're sitting at the stoplight leaving Buc-ee's. there's the interstate right there. That's where I want to go. And this thing's telling me to turn right. Yeah, so you have to watch what you're doing even with the GPS.
Yeah.
My old GPS, which I still have, it's the old one. I don't think that thing ever made me turn the wrong direction, ever.
Yeah. But you know, you got to look where you're going too. But yeah, things like bridges, I mean, you can't tell by looking how tall they are. But like I say, even some of them that are marked, like I said, they repaved the road. So that doesn't necessarily mean that's what height it is.
Well, they're supposed to. Well, Illinois is a whole different state. They got a weird way of looking at everything. But in Indiana, where all the low underpasses used to be, they're all gone. Even in Anderson, remember when we went by Fraser's, is up to the old Payless store, that right there, that's all been changed. That's because they have to have delivery to that store. I forget, anyway, what they do is they don't make the bridge higher, they actually dig it out underneath, so that when you go to the bridge, it goes down and up so you can get through it. And interstates have a law, federal law, if anybody ever follows that they have to be a minimum of 14 feet tall. So all these bridges that you see out here on 44, where the villages put that there, those bridges are minimum 14 feet tall. So I don't know if they apply that in other states, but I think they're supposed to.
Well, Night Nurse says Victory Field in Indianapolis. Yes, now that's where we used to take the
Victory
girls.
Field? Yeah, that's Indianapolis, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that place. It just, everything is there is expensive. A beer and a hot dog, you know. God.
Yeah.
But the girls loved it, and so that's why we went
Yeah,
there.
they always had a great time. And then when they got a little older, they could always get a good tan because you're sitting in the sun.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Night Nurse says downtown Indy has some great gyms. We just need a mayor with some stones. Well, I understand that too.
Well, the thing that's nice about Indianapolis, I'm sure other big cities are that way, it was just very walkable downtown. Yeah. I can remember when I volunteered some work, well, I didn't really volunteer, Jim volunteered me to do all that work at that Catholic church. And we'd walk around and have lunch and whatever, and I didn't know where I was at. I said, where do you have lunch down here? And he goes, there's all kinds of places. Well, they're there, but you have to know where they're at. And it was just amazing to me when he took me around town and showed me, he said, over here's a grocery store, and all I seen was an old building with a big door, but when you walked in, it was like a huge grocery store in there. So I don't know what the price of stuff was, but there's stuff down there.
Yeah.
The restaurant, we never did get there. The most famous steakhouse downtown Indianapolis, that's where all the race car drivers go right after the 500-mile race. But it's up on like the 13th floor of some building, and I forget the name of it. And I said, before we go to Florida, I want to have dinner up there. And I never did get there.
Like Ruth Chris?
Huh?
Ruth Chris?
No, Ruth Chris is not downtown. This is the oldest steakhouse, I think, in Indianapolis. It's been there for like 150 years.
St. Elmo's?
St. Elmo's? Is that it?
I don't know.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. Oh, I know there is one. I
don't know, but anyway, there's one down there.
Craig said us to sue that bridge like many in Spokane were built in the 1920s. They didn't even take into account trucks and buses.
No.
Yeah, that's a problem sometimes.
That's the problem with Chicago. You
Yeah.
get to the older side over there, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Of course, being a trucker that run all over the country, I don't know one bad area in LA compared to a bad area in Chicago. I don't know where the old area of New York is. I don't know. So when they give me directions, I just assume this person that deals with trucks every day, they're giving me the proper directions to get to them. And but the low underpasses is a serious problem. And in some cities, I'll tell you the problem isn't the low underpasses, it's they don't trim the trees next to the road. Branches are hanging way out over the road, but they're only 10 feet from, so we run into them, and it's just a problem. I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore.
And Brock Reynolds said, oh my God, my chiropractor slipped on the ice and died of a brain bleed. Well, yeah, you know, fortunately I lived. But yeah, that was the clincher for me. I thought, this is dumb. I got a house in Florida. I ain't doing this no more. I was already retired. Skip was still working, but I was already retired.
She was just pissed off at me, that's all.
But, and somewhere in the sentence, it's so dangerous. Many do not realize, look at the death toll just from the weekend. That's right. I was surprised when I seen the death toll from the storm that went through, yeah.
Who keeps count?
Well, the news does. They tell you
Well,
every
the
day.
news is always accurate.
There's 3 little boys that drowned in Texas. They went on the ice and ice broke.
Oh, well, that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, my only question to that is, boys are boys, I know, but where's the parents?
The mother was standing there. She tried to get out to them.
Why would she let them go out there to start with?
And I said,
I
that
can see
don't
us. Would
know.
you let your kids walk on ice that you don't even know how thick it is?
Well, no, but I'm kind of over.
Nah, I just think
Parenting
that's
anyhow, so.
just protective parents is what I think that is. I can
Yeah.
see me out there. I can hear them now. Get your ass back here. What the hell do you think you're doing out there?
Laura says the wrestler looked very cheerful while using the snowblower in his video. Yeah, the wrestler always looked very cheerful.
I think he had his face covered.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Maybe
But it
not.
looked like he was
I
having
don't
a
know.
good
I watched
time.
the video, but the whole video to me just reminded me of the cold.
Greg said, yes, Skip, that is what we want to look at every day, just about there. April, baby. Yes, that's right. April, we're in good hands in April. Yep. I said, that's
It
when
won't
we,
be that long. We'll be sitting out here on the porch complaining about how hot it is.
Yeah, yeah. And let's see. Elaine Skirk, she said, that backyard is beautiful. After your chat, go out and take a picture of that sky and palm tree. We got millions. Yeah, we got millions. We're just, is it tonight? Yeah, tonight I think they got a launch at like 11:30. And I always come out,
I don't think they launch after the temperature gets below a certain amount.
well, and they don't. And that's what I say, I don't know,
If it's going to get down to 20, like you said, they may not launch at all.
well, that's Sunday. As a Sunday, it's going to get that cold. Tonight, I don't know what the weather is, but I think it's below 40, and that's depending on the wind speed and everything. But anyhow, there's supposed to be a launch tonight, and I think another one tomorrow night. And it's also at 11:30.
What are they having so many launches for? What are they doing up there?
I don't know.
Did you ever ask yourself that? We know that whenever Elon Musk has a launch, 99% of it's because he's putting more and more satellites up there because of his internet system kind of thing. But NASA does all kinds of secret launches that we don't know what they are.
Well, they send a lot of stuff up for one.
What stuff?
Well, they do experiments and stuff. So they
What
send them
experiments? This is what I want to know. I don't want to just use the word, well, it's an experiment at this college. What experiment?
Well,
Are we sending animals up there to see if they can mate in weightlessness area?
I don't know if they could do that anymore, but I know that they send seeds. They send different.
I don't know why they can't tell us. It's our money. It's taxpayers' money. We have a right to know.
I don't know as I've asked, and they might.
The news never reports it.
Well, no, but I mean, that might be part of their reporting. But
I
a
watched
lot of that stuff.
I watched the NASA channel. When they have a launch, they have NASA people telling about the launch, what it's for, where it's been. This is a new rocket. This is the new whatever. But they never talk about what's on that rocket.
Yeah. Oh, and Jerry says, yeah, they have to put it together. They're
St.
in
Elmo's
Famous
Steakhouse,
Center.
known as the steak and spicy shrimp cocktail. Is that the
shrimp cocktail.
St. Elmo's? That sounds about right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one. I've never been there, and I always said I was going to go there before I come down here.
Yeah.
Probably because Sue wouldn't let me go. Anytime I want to do anything, she didn't let me do it.
Okay. Yeah.
It's probably because she's standing next to the stove because she's cold.
That's right. Yeah, and Craig and Nicole. Yeah. Congratulations. You'll be here soon. Just hang in there. And
Why is women's feet shorter than men's?
I don't know.
So you can stand closer to the sink.
Oh, God. Craig Casella says the GPS told us to make a U-turn in the middle of a separated bridge in Scotland. Yeah, but I said, that kind of stuff happens. You got to pay attention. You can't just go by that GPS. Because I know that one time we got detoured by the GPS, and we ended up in some place that would not drive, never. And I said it was kind of scary until we got out of there. We was out in California, I believe.
Why do blondes have shoulder pads on their outfits?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, God. Oh, my goodness.
I'm trying to think when we went to North Dakota, did I do it on purpose or was it a detour? We had the motorhome towing the car, and we was in like this town area somewhere, and they told us to turn right, and we followed this thing, and we're out in the middle of lakes, farmlands. And I finally found, I said, let's turn around and go back where I come from because this goes nowhere. And it was hard to turn around because I was towing this car. But was that the GPS that made us do that?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but I know we got into a mess.
I know we did that once, and we found this road, and I think they call it the Fantasy Road or something up there, that had all these metal sculptures, big, huge metal sculptures.
Oh,
along.
that was in South Dakota.
Yeah, it was really, really neat.
They call that something. That's actually
Yeah.
a touristy thing now.
Yeah, it's Fantasy Road or something like that. But
Yeah, they had these handmade statues and stuff on the side of the highway. That's
and there was
called
no
something.
rhyme or reason. I mean, it wasn't a statue of any particular thing. I mean, one was birds, one was, something else.
It was some
But they were
artist.
just neat.
Some artist done that, and I Googled that once, and there's a whole story about it. But my patience doesn't allow me to read more than a page, and I'm about done.
And Gringo says, aren't federal laws merely a suggestion now? Well, kind of, especially if you don't read English.
Laws? We don't need no stinking laws.
And Rester says, I was not smiling while running the snowblower. My teeth were chattering.
Yeah, it looked
Yeah.
cold. The whole thing. Matter of fact, if you watch that video and ignore Wrestler, look way behind him in between the houses back there, and I think you see a city truck struggling to push snow out of the way of a road. I think way back there in the back. Yeah.
Yeah. And Jerry Bell says, with the spicy, St. Elmo's with the spicy horseradish sauce. Yes, love that. I used to eat a lot of prime rib, and I always eat it with horseradish sauce. And I just love that stuff. Otherwise, I don't eat horseradish. And Night Nurse says, the revolving restaurant in Indy is the Eagle's Nest on top of the Sheraton. And no, that wasn't it, because he would never go there.
No, wasn't that?
I
think
think
it was St. Elmo's.
Yeah, I think it was St.
Because they're
Elmo's.
known for their steaks.
But I don't think it was up.
Yeah, it's up. Well, it used to be.
Yeah.
It was up, I don't know what floor, but
Yeah.
it's up in a building somewhere. Because after the race, the 500-mile drivers, it's just a tradition, they all go to St. Elmo's, and I don't think you can get a reservation that day.
Yeah. I'll look it up after
Unless
that.
that's been changed too.
Yeah.
That's the funny part when you retire and you leave your state. 10 years later, you go back to find out everything's changed.
And Rose Kay said, oh, fantastic. I made it to the live, snowed in, and school's closed for 3 days in Delaware. Enjoy your Porch Settin every week via replay. Have a great week. Well, thank you, Rose. Stay in, stay warm, since school's closed. So enjoy. Sit down, snuggle up to your puppy or your pup, and enjoy the day. Rester says one of the secret NASA launches was sending up an old retired trucker to see how many new curse words he could come up with. It's a very interesting experiment. Can't repeat the results there, though.
It's too bad I don't have a lot of money because I'd like to do one of them Elon Musk things that he did for people. I forget what the price was. You fly up and you're in space for a while and then you come back down. I would do that.
Yeah. I said, I would love to watch you.
You can't. I'll be up there.
Yeah, I said, bye. See ya. Oh, my goodness. Buddy's being good right now. Yeah, he's being real good. He's laying back here about half asleep. And I didn't even have to drug him today. I was telling somebody the other day they were, the new people across the street, they brought their dog with them this time. They come down from New Jersey. And they only stayed a couple weeks, and they went back before the snowstorm because they wanted to go snowmobiling. Because I said, why are you going back? The storm's coming. But they wanted to go snowmobiling. And she said they had to get something from the doctor. They've got a little girl dog that looks just like Buddy, only it's a female, and it's a Shih Tzu. Same coloring and everything. She's got a little bit more gray on her head. But anyhow, she said she had to get some pills from the doctor for the long trip down here. And I told her, that I got some, the CBD pills from Wolfgang here. And I said, that seemed to calm Buddy down really good. Didn't put him to sleep or anything, but it calmed him down to where he just laid on my lap, just like he is today. And I said, the whole way to North Dakota. Otherwise, he'd get on my lap, and then he'd go and get a skip's lap, and then, back and forth and back and forth. Never would lay down in his bed, but I think that's our fault. But I said, those seem to calm him down enough. And Jerry Bell told me to get the motion sickness pills, and I got some of those too. But I bought some at Walmart and I got some from a drugstore, and I actually ordered some hemp oil, I think, from Amazon, and didn't work. Didn't do nothing, but that stuff stinks. It really, really stinks. So, Kyle Reed says, hello, Skip and Sue, celebrating 30 years of the polo field. Has it really been that long? Enjoy your day. I guess it has. And I said, I am. It was something I was really surprised about coming down here about the polo fields because, you know, we're in Indiana. We don't hear much about polo there. So I'm thinking, you know, do we really fit into this? There's somewhere with a polo field. But yeah, not been a problem.
I went to a polo game once. They don't have any big games over there. It's like Citizens Bank versus First National Bank. I mean, it's just a bunch of kids. I didn't care for it at all. I thought it was boring as hell. I mean, but the food wasn't bad. I went around and drank beer and ate hot dogs.
Oh, and Jerry has slipped some of those in Skip's cookies. I wished. And I said he would probably like it. But yeah, it calmed Buddy right down. So, and I did all the other stuff I tried didn't work. So, but those seemed to work. And I said the only place I found them there's at Wolfgang Bakery uptown for the dog bakery. And I actually took him and got his hair cut up there at Wolfgang this last time too, and I was really impressed. It wasn't that much more expensive than everybody else, but they took really good care of him, and I thought, you know, that he had some bad knots in his hair that I couldn't get out. Otherwise, I'd have left him fluffy because I like him with all his curls, but he just had so much hair that was sticking together, I couldn't get it cleaned up, so that's why they had to cut him. But they were really good. I liked the lady that did it, and he didn't seem to fuss much. I mean, when we go to give him a bath, he really has a fit. But he didn't seem to fuss much with her. He was pretty good. No.
You got 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, I just got a few things because, you know, with the weather the way it is, there's probably not a whole lot you want to do anyhow, unless you're like Kevin and you just get out there anyhow. But that's not my thing. The February 7th is the Chili Cook-Off, Beer Fest, and the Home and Garden Show. That's at Lake Sumter Landing. It's $7 for a chili band. That starts at 12 noon. $30 for a beer testing band. And the exhibitors start at 10 a.m. That's at Lake Sumter Landing. Now that's something, you know, I've always wanted to go to, but we never could find a parking place because Skip never goes anywhere early. So by the time you get there, there is no parking spaces. But we've never got to actually see it. But it's very popular. That's why you don't find a parking place. I was all the way down to the Winn-Dixie and still could not find a parking place. And that's pretty far away. So, but anyhow, if you can get there, go early and check it out. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun this year. And Lake Ridge Winery and Vineyards will host the 29th edition of Wine Fest, February 13th to 15th. They have an arts and craft vendors and 3 days of live music, outdoor games, winery tours, and tasting food court. The location is US Highway 27 in Claremont. And I've been to that. Really, really, really neat. It's a big place. And the winery tour was very nice. And they've got a good, I don't normally drink red wine. I usually drink white because the red kind of gives me a headache. But they've got a really good Southern red that I really, really like. But anyhow, and the Mount Dora Arts Festival is January 31st to February 1st. It's 300 artists. Oh, he must have seen something down there.
Bird.
Oh, okay. 300 artists and will be line the streets, and they show and sell their works, and there's food and entertainment. It's all free. So get down to Mount Dora and check it out. Friday, Ask the Master Gardener Plant Clinic is 9 to 3. It's at the Villages, Sumter County Sewer Center, 7375 Powell Road in Wildwood. It's free. You can ask questions and work with a master gardener. Bring pick of your plants and ask all kinds of questions. Especially in this kind of weather when you don't know, whether your plants are going to survive. This is a good time to go check them out and ask those questions. And they're there I think they do it every Friday. And you get a master gardener. Ask them all the questions. And also this time of year is you pick strawberries. Visit the website at www.backroadberries.com. It's 13578 County Road 103, Oxford. And I've been out there before, and Linda and I went out and picked some strawberries. And if you've never had fresh strawberries, then you just don't know what you're missing. These things you get at the store, I'm telling you. And we have a strawberry festival here. But the things you get that's been trucked in that are half green, and there's no taste, and they're hard. But like so you get these, you pick strawberries and get them there, and I mean, you're lucky to get out of the field without eating all of them because they're just that much.
That's just one of the benefits, ain't it?
Yeah.
That you can eat your fill before you pay for what you actually got.
Yeah, because they charge you by the pound. But like I said, it's just, they just taste so much better.
I think they should weigh the people before they go in and out.
Yeah. Oh, and Jerry says Plant City strawberries at Costco last trip. Yeah, every once in a while they get them in the stores. And the Plant City, that's the big strawberry festival. And that's where you get the good strawberries. If you ever go to Plant City, the place to go is Parksdale.
Get the strawberry shortcake if you go.
The place called Parksdale. They're world renowned, but it's like a big open air market. But they do have some tables and stuff inside. But you can just get all things strawberry, and it's just the best. Laura says, thank you, Skip, Sue, and Buddy. Stay warm. All on the chat. Stay safe to those in the snow and ice. Well, have
Just
a great
as a
trip.
reminder before we get out of here, all you guys that's a Patreon member here or a YouTube member here, you're going to get the news at 3 o'clock today. So just beware. And if you're not a Patreon member, for $2 a month, you can join. There's things on there you haven't seen yet. And YouTube, it starts out at $5. I really recommend Patreon, but you can do both, either or. Some of these people on here are all Patreon members. Jerry Bell, Russ Romania, Laura Lamp. I don't even remember all the names. Anyway, there's a bunch of them here. And on there, you'll get Discord. And all these people here, you can talk to them personally on Discord.
And Laura, have a wonderful trip. We want to hear all the details when you get back now. And hope the weather is nice for you. Jerry has Skip calling questions.
Where's she going?
I don't know.
Oh.
You want the number for calling questions? 352-913-5366.
What phone number is that?
That's yours for calling questions.
Who?
Yours.
Is that my phone number?
Yes.
Oh. I do have.
We're on top of things here.
I have a phone number that I use for just my YouTube channel only. I don't carry it with me. I don't even hardly turn the phone on. It's in there right now. That's the right phone number. And I was trying to encourage people that if you've got any comments or any questions or something like that, to call that number, leave a message, and then I go through it once in a while when I can get like at least a 15-minute video, and I play your question. And I cut out names, and if you happen to forget and like a phone number, I cut all that out because I don't want to put that on the air. And then I try to answer them the best that I can, or at least guide you that way. And matter of fact, I think one of the best phone calls I had was the guy that called up and chewed my ass out. Yeah. I did. I played it right on there. And I got a lot of comments. One guy said, "Bun, you're brave to do that." I said, "Well, no, I mean, that's the way it goes. It goes both ways. I mean, I can't criticize you if I don't let you criticize me." And Sue will tell you, I am the best at picking on me than anybody.
Yes. And Laura's going to the Bahamas, so just have a great time. And somewhere in the sense that she loves Discord. Discord's wonderful because I said you can talk to people all the time, ask questions. We don't have all the answers. And I said sometimes our answers are kind of screwy. But I said you can talk to people that live here, people that don't live here yet but are coming. And you get a lot of information, but you also make some friends. Some of those Discord ladies, they're all going to get together when they all get down here. May's the big month, I think, when a lot of them's going to be here. I mean, Laura's going to be here then. Somewhere in the sun, I think, is going to be here then. There's going to be a lot of them. They're all making plans to meet each other and all. And it's kind of a good thing.
I saw one on there a couple yesterday. Somebody was asking about something, getting something done. I forget what it was. It wasn't landscaping or anything. It was something like electrical work or something.
Okay.
And that's when Racer Girl popped on. She said, "That's what I used to do." And I think she was. She's. I don't know if she's licensed here, but yeah. Anyway, you can get all kinds of stuff on there. Plus, we have a couple of lawyers that
Yes.
are on there. I'm not going to say who.
We got the Medicare guru.
Got the Medicare guru
Yeah,
on
like I
there.
said, you know, ask questions, talk to people, you know.
And one thing
It's
about
nice.
the Medicare guru is I will say you can take his information to the bank because he's licensed by the state of Florida. So he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. And Missy Mo says, I hop on now, I have to hop off. Have a great week. You too, hon.
All right, we're going to say goodbye.
Yeah, we're going to say goodbye. Love y'all. Stay warm. Stay safe.
I'm getting there.